a little bit about pat aging. It's a new feature within Oasis that allows basically any Oasis user to take a look at what should have been paid or what income will look like into the future. So there's a lot of little details in here that take a little bit of explaining to get to. But before you can use pat aging, there's a little bit of setup that is required. So go into, obviously on the web, so you have to have O4 on this, so it's through your web browser, not inside the legacy Oasis. And go down to configuration. There is under the software portion, and then global settings. Over here on the web, sorry we buried this pretty good, but it's a required element on here. And where it says web workgroup, make sure you have something selected. We like to see the primary office as being selected out of this if possible, if you're set up by office. But the main thing is whatever your primary work group is, select that because there's a lot of background data that gets set up. And on that note, if this is blank, then what you might want to do is select it, and then if you're having any trouble seeing the report I'm about to show you, the pat aging report, you might just drop support a note because it should automatically just pick up and start generating the data, but sometimes it may not have set up properly or whatever. So just give us a buzz if you don't see the report I'm about to show you. Once this is set up, give it about 24 hours. It takes a little bit of time to churn through all the data and start doing the predictions because that's really what's going on here. The other required element on this is you really have to go in and do two things on your orders inside of Oasis. One is, and I won't show you an order here, but the main thing is you have to go through and apply shipping. So if you're doing that regularly, then we have a little bit of data we can actually start making decisions on. If you've never done shipments, then just start doing them. After a while, the system will start picking up on that data as it starts appearing there. So recommend about 6 months at a bare minimum of shipping information in there before it'll actually start doing any reasonable calculations. The other thing you have to do is go ahead and start doing applying invoices in Oasis and reconciling them, because the combined report here really gives you a lot of information on the financial health of the company. So it's just the basics, which a lot of our customers do, but you really have to get in there and make those basic steps going, or this report will basically be blank for you. So once those are set up, you've set up the web work group. If you've been doing or applying shipping and invoices to your orders and reconciling, most of what I'm going to show you will be actually a major help to the rest of the company. So let's go to the pat aging report. So where we hid that, and again, this is all on O4. We use some pretty healthy servers over here to make sure that the processing happens promptly. But if you go under the Oasis icon, go under invoices now instead of configuration. And under reports, there's a report in here we call pat aging. Okay, so if you click into that, it should just start showing you data, and you can click into it and do some really nice stuff here. I'll show you the basics on this and what we're trying to show you. But once you're in here, what it's trying to show you is really what happened in the past, what should have happened in the past, but may not have for a few reasons, and what's about to happen. Okay, this is actually a test database. It's randomized data in there, so it's actually confused the predictors in there a little bit. But the main thing is it does give you a little bit of an idea what's going on here. So let's kind of take a look at one item here. So let's take a look at this one factory, BDL, whoever they are. Again, randomized, just random data in our little test database here. So I don't show anybody's actual data. So BDL here, and what I like to do is start kind of from the bottom up. So you have payments in here. So $18,000 is the check that we received from the manufacturer and applied to Oasis. $13,000, $19,441.70. That again is the check. So this is the past that I was talking about. It's showing what happened in the past. Okay. Essentially, it's a payments report. I'll leave it at that. So that's the check amount as we go across in time. Again, for looks like January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay, and this is actually the 1st of July when this recording's happened. So all this is in the past. Everything else is in the future. That's kind of weird to actually run a report that's showing the future. More on that in a minute. The key here is right here we have $1 on ATMFG. Okay, so I'll start at the top here on a slightly different brand here, and we'll kind of dive into little bit of data there. But that $1 is basically a projection of an order that we should have been paid on back in February. Okay, and this is a common problem for a lot of reps. There are small manufacturers that will not provide an invoice until they're providing you the money. And the downside to that is you really have no visibility on whether it's shipped or anything else. You're just flying blind, and as long as they hold on to the invoice, they can hold on to your earnings, and there's nothing you really can do about it other than watch it somehow. Well, this is one way to have it automate and watch it for you. So that $1, if you click into this, so I'll go ahead and drill in and we'll come back here. So I'll click into this cell and it's showing you all the data that made it up. So here's all the payments that were applied to the check that we received and deposited in the bank, and we get a total down there that's the $36,000. Okay, and then there aren't any invoices. So don't get me wrong, there are invoices during this month. We're just not showing any that are pertinent to this aging report, and that's the key here. Is this is all aging as opposed to the payments are actually applied though, but all the invoices were probably paid and are applied down here under the payments. So they're off the book, so to speak. Now, on the orders, there's most likely a lot of other orders in this month as well for this factory. So ATMFG in February, who knows how many invoices and orders are in here. We're only showing you the ones that are aging. They're getting old. We should have received money on them. So on this one, that dollar should have came in back in February. And we don't have the invoice, but what has happened is the system has picked up on that typically this particular item, whatever this fake item is here, usually ships within a certain time frame. And we calculate all that for you and based upon the data that's in the system and project a date of shipment. That's also the same day it usually invoices. Then based upon how the factory normally pays, we project from that invoice date or shipment date, depending on what data we have, to the actual date that was paid. So we should have received $1 back in February. This gives you a little bit more information that you have right now. So a lot of folks will run a backlog report in Oasis, and then they're sitting up with all this massive stuff, and it's hard to determine on what should be chased and what shouldn't be chased. Well, this is a dead ringer right here. This is one that you should probably take a look at and find out what's going on. So I can click on it, it'll go into that order for me, and then I can take a look and see what's going on here. So we don't know of any shipping information. This is one reason why I'm a big proponent of making sure shipping information is applied to the system. So not only does it help you with the projections in the system, in other words, it's able to do its job a little bit better, but also helps you have a little more information here. And again, this is just random junk data that we generated here. But if I had shipping information, I would know for certain that thing had shipped, and then I can go and really get aggressive with this factory and say, hey, that thing shipped back in probably December, and then we expect to get paid back in February, and it didn't happen. So anyway, all the information's here. Really, just on the aging point of view helps, in my opinion, the accounting team get a little more on top of some of this older information or these older orders that are just sitting there and they've been processed. We've done our job, but for some reason the factory isn't paying us. It could be as simple as the distributor sitting on the money or whatever, but at least you can engage and get paid for your work. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. All right, so we talked a little bit about the payments, talked a little bit about projections in the past, and any money, and again, this is just random data here, but any money that shows up in the past, whether it's an invoice data, so that's the other one I really didn't show here, this $242 is, we have the invoice, but we didn't get the payment. And who knows on this one, it may be just timing or something like that, or it may be another case where we just didn't get paid. So anyway, take a look at the orders, take a look at the invoices. Excellent for the accounting team to get on top of aging, and it just kind of updates itself, which is nice. Okay, now let's switch hats a little bit, so to speak. So still kind of on the accounting side, but starts engaging the owners a little bit more. So one thing we're able to do here is, again, it's July right now, and what we're projecting already is we have orders that we think we should be paid on as $252 on this, and it could be one of those small factories that you get the invoice and you get the check at the same time. So we're projecting it should come in. If that happens, you apply the invoice and you pay it, then basically that $252 will drop down to payments. And again, I'm doing this on July 1st. It could be the 15th or the 20th or whenever that happens. So if it does happen, it pulls down. Otherwise, that $252 will stay here, just like what that dollar was back over here. And your accounting team can take a look at it and see, hey, okay, we need to go chase money and find out why we were not paid. Or just give it another month before you start really getting aggressive on that one. Same thing on the 10,000. What we find is the system's pretty good about projecting the invoices. And again, we'll talk about accuracy. This is random data, which really makes the system really freak out because it doesn't do good with random. It does real well with consistency. So the $10,000 right there, what we find is we're pretty accurate on that. That'll probably just drop down to the payment side. So I'm starting to expect on this, and again, this is just random data, but with a lot of folks we've been working with, this is pretty close. I wouldn't say it's spot on, but it really gives you an idea of, hey, we're looking good for the coming month and maybe a month or two in the future. And it's all based on orders and invoice data, just projecting in the future. So back on my comment there. For owners, now it really allows us to take a look, not, what's going to happen this month. We don't know. We really are starting to give you more information projecting into the future about income. All based on orders, all based on invoices. It's perfect information in there, or I say really good information. I don't know if there's perfection here, but it's really nice. So that's the details as far as the screen. We'll talk about accuracy here in a second, but as I was hinting at before, totals down at the bottom. This is the money we booked or actually put in the account. Any of the orders or invoices are projecting, in the past, projecting something that should have happened. And if you see, $1 or $240 or whatever that is a good indication that you should have been paid on those items. Okay, and then going into the future, we start projecting into the future as far as income to be seen. So, another quick comment here, that $20,000, we see this a lot actually in production systems too, where there's just a little bit left over. It's usually not that ratio, that big a difference. Usually this is a lot bigger number down here, but $5,000 to $20,000 or something like that comes in a little bit later because it's kind of projecting towards the end of the month, and it actually happens the next month. So, all right, accuracy on this. This is a random data set just created by a data randomizer we created. And the system was trying to take a look at how the factory, which isn't a factory, it's just a random generator, it was trying to project in the future. So these numbers are very, very low. If you see this below 70% or something like that, you just drop us a note, because that usually means something's going on. It may be that we need to have a conversation about consistency of data, or that you don't have enough data. But it's not uncommon for us to see this number actually in the high 80s, if not 90% as accuracy. And what that means is if we project this, a number like this, $294, there's a 90% chance it's going to happen on that month. I mean, we are literally that close. And that's the actual month. So what we found also, just to give you a little bit more information on the 15 and the 30 up here, what we found is within 15 days of our projection, so if we say it's the 5th of June or something like that, what we found is sometimes it'll happen a little sooner or a little later. And if you're real close to the beginning or the end of the month when we make that projection, we found that we're within the ballpark. In other words, we're within 30 days of either side, or basically 15 days of either side of that. And these, for most of our users in there with any consistency in their processes, is in the 90 percentile range. So that's 90% projection on, hey, you need to chase this, and 90%, hey, this is the money we're going to put in the bank. So it's really getting good. Within 30 days, in other words, 30 days either side of that, now you're getting, quite kind of a wide area there. Still useful information, but a little more noise into it. Yeah, that's very high. For some of our customers, it's like 98% or something like that. So you're always going to have the weird stuff in there that, someone's disputing a payment or something like that, a customer or whatever, and it happens, and you just have to kind of know that there's going to be a few odd ducks out there. But anyway, Pat aging. I didn't go through all the gory details and some of the other cool things in here, but just the basics. Pulling this up, having your accounting team use this as an aging report for commissions. big deal here. I mean, it really is starting to help some folks just get an assessment of the money that you're not getting paid in a more friendly way than what we've done with some of the old aging reports. And for the owners, hey, it's kind of nice to know what we're going to get paid this month and not worry too much that, hey, things are falling off real quick. Or if it's going up real good, maybe I can hire that person. So I've been wanting to hire. So there you go. That is pet aging. If you have any questions, please do call our support center here or drop us a note, support@oasissalessoftware.com, and let us know what you're thinking. Thank you.